3, 4, 3. Hey guys, welcome back. We are well overdue for a video, and today we are doing all things arms. So we're down here in the man cave, what I like to call the pump palace. And today I'm gonna take you through an arm workout that I like to do most Sundays down here. The thing is with training arms is you can do them a number of different ways. You might throw in biceps at the end of back. You might throw in triceps on the end of chest. You might switch that up and do biceps after chest and triceps after back. You might have your own arm day, but if there's one thing that remains true, it's about getting an epic pump and absolutely having a great time. So with my philosophies and methodologies around arm training over the years, it has changed quite a bit. When my arms were arguably at their best and biggest was when I was around probably 21, 22. And that's when I solely had a day dedicated to arms. Back then, I was much younger, much less wise, and I spent probably 2 to 2.5 hours every Friday with my training partner. We would annihilate arms. Nowadays, it's a little bit of a different story. So the way I like to do them now is really, I'll get out here and I'll plan a bit of a workout. I do mix it up quite regularly because I do find I get a little bit bored on arm days, but I'll have a plan of attack. So first things first is actually making sure the movements we are going to be doing are going to be effective. So I'll go through those next. But I've also got this little stop clock here. I find this super handy. So when I'm down here out the back, I'll actually set a time, normally 80 minutes, and that keeps me really accountable because really if you're not absolutely obliterating your arms in 80 minutes, you're not doing something right. So the way we're going to do it today is a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to superset biceps into triceps or vice versa depending on the movement. Now, in the past, I've done all biceps first, say 3 to 4 exercises, and then I've done all triceps second. I really like that way. It's just not as efficient when it comes to time, right? But you do get an amazing pump. The muscle feels absolutely destroyed. But this way is a little bit more efficient. So what we're gonna do today is a lot of supersetting. Round one of each movement, I'll describe what I'm trying to do, what sort of techniques I'm trying to apply, and give you guys some tips along the way. I'll probably then do a working set or two, and I'll film my last working set. As always, if you do have any questions or if you want any other videos covered, just let me know in the comments below, but for now, we'll get straight into it. Superset number one for today, we are going an incline bench, a cable skull crusher. I'm using this Vulcan type attachment. I like it because you get a little bit more range of motion. You can really drive those hands outwards at the top of each rep. You could use a rope, you could use a straight bar, whatever you feel comfortable doing. From that, I'm gonna superset straight into an incline dumbbell bicep curl. We'll do both arms at once today. So we'll start off with this one here. Admittedly, there is no real easy way to get into this one without it feeling awkward. So this is how I like to do it. I might end up on a gym blooper, but typically I bring it up and over, a step through, brace my abs. But from here, we're essentially straight up. I bring those fists down, nice and low to get that stretch. I drive up and then out. So at the top of each rep, I really am trying to emphasize that outward drive, just to really flex those triceps, and we drive up and through. So ideally, we want to get around this first round, 12 to sort of 15-ish. Then on the working sets, we'll bring that number down a little bit more, sort of 10 to 12. So getting a nice big stretch. If you want to feel that stretch even more, when I get into this position, I actually think about contracting my biceps, and that's going to get your triceps into an even longer position. Now you don't have to, of course, pause for as long as that, but we stretch, drive up and through. Couple more here. So for the incline dumbbell curls, I like the angle a little bit steeper. This is probably more like 45 degrees. We'll grab the dumbbells. I like to keep my sternum up nice and tall, so really opening up through that rib cage. We pull up and through, And really all we want to think about here, personally, I don't like to swing the arms through too much. I like to try and keep the shoulders back for at least as many as I can. Those last few reps of each set, you might want to go into a little bit more of a cheat rep. And then I'm gripping really tight through my pinky finger. So I grip nice and tight, I curl up, and essentially I'm just imagining shortening that gap from my forearm to my bicep. Stretch down, squeeze to the pinky, pull forearm into bicep. And again, if you want to make this one a little bit more challenging, what you can do at the bottom of each rep, so in this position here, flex your triceps. What that's going to do is just put the biceps under a little bit more of a stretch, and then we curl up. A couple more here. Oh yeah. Whew. With those ones there, I find they start to catch up on you pretty quickly. So that was 12.5 kilos. For the working rounds, we'll go into 15. But it's the sort of movement you can be going, feeling great, and then hit a wall on it. And I think because of that position, it's actually quite hard to keep going with strict reps because you can either get it or you can't. So in that instance, a little bit of cheat reps are okay, depending on the movement. But if you're training by yourself and you don't have a spotter, for example, rather than stopping the set here, what you could actually do, and you'll see me do it, you can actually rock back a little and then up. So yeah, you are generating some momentum, but if that's going to allow you to get a couple more reps, we can argue that's a lot more stimulus to the muscle. So, and it's safe to do so. So that's where I think cheat reps, when done well and on the right movement, can be very effective. So I'll do another round and then I'll film the working set of this one so you can see what the intensity looks like. Big working set time. We'll load a little bit more weight on there, change the playlist, the music's a little bit louder. Normally when I'm out here, one of the things I love about training at home is you can play whatever you like, as loud as you like. So I'll keep it a little bit quieter today so it doesn't get picked up via YouTube. But we'll get straight into it this one. We've gone up on the weight on both of these movements, so you'll see that intensity start to climb. lubricant. So those ones, like I touched on, they get hard very quickly. Even those last couple of reps when I tried to get a little bit of momentum, still felt super tough. So I'm gonna do one more round of those. What I like to do on the last round is just add an intensify, whether it be doing a drop set, which is what I'll do here, or if I do a rest pause. Again, I like to mix it up. Arm day for me, a big part of it, not only does it have to be effective, of course, but is enjoyment. And at the end of the day, if your style of training is something that you're not enjoying, that's half the fun of it, right? That's half the process. Is you gotta, if you wanna be in this game for the long haul, you've gotta be able to enjoy it. You've gotta be able to sustain it and do it week in, week out. So when it comes time to structuring your own arm day, first of all, yes, you want it to be effective, right? Because otherwise we could potentially be wasting our time in the gym. But what is equally important, in my opinion, is making sure that you enjoy it. Like I touched on earlier, with my arm days, I like a fair bit of variety. So I still put thought into, all right, what am I trying to get out of each movement? Is it in a shortened position? Is it in a lengthened stretch position? But also mix it up, have fun with it. Because if it's just monotonous week in, week out, and you don't enjoy it, guess what will happen? Your intensity will drop off. And if intensity drops off, then we're really not gonna see the true results that we could be getting. One more round here. Okay, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, last round there, we did a little drop set. So when you are doing the supersetting of either bicep into tricep or tricep into bicep, vice versa, I still try and keep the rest as short as possible between the two. So literally take a few deep breaths, 30 seconds, then straight into the next. If you are doing a little bit of a drop set and you don't get as many as you'd like, that's where you could do a drop set and a rest pause. So I have another 10 seconds here. I'll go again with those. Hit failure, 20 seconds off, failure once more. Oh, come on. One more. First superset done. So already feel like I've got a great pump. Honestly, when you hit arms properly and you put everything into those sets, it doesn't take long for them to feel toast. I'll probably squeeze in 4 supersets today. Like I said, I like to set that stop clock to keep me accountable. It's a Sunday night here. Banks will probably come in and Gatecrash this party soon, but I do want to do dinner with the family, so I like having that accountability to the clock. It'll make me work fast, so at a bare minimum, 3 supersets today. We'll move straight into the next, hopefully 4 though. So the next one, what we'll do, single arm tricep extension into a single arm dumbbell preacher curl. For these single arm tricep extensions, I really enjoy these. I probably get more from them earlier in the workout. If I do them towards the end, I just don't really feel them as well. And I find I just can't get that super sharp contraction. So this one, we're basically getting the tricep into a really shortened position. I like to set the cable up at nose height. I used to set the cable up at the top, but since changing this angle, it suits the line of pull better for when you extend back past the torso. So if you had it at the top, it would be better working in a downward direction, but because we're trying to get back past the torso, almost a little bit like a tricep kickback in a way. So what we do here, you don't need any attachment for this one. I brace with my other hand, and then I'm essentially trying to drive back past my hips and my torso. So we're not just pushing straight down like a normal tricep push down. Actually position your upper arm back, and we drive back and behind us. So by putting the shoulder into a little bit of shoulder extension and keeping that arm behind the torso, if you haven't done that before, you should get a really strong tricep contraction. So I'm really trying to push back, and then you can almost sort of extend through that shoulder a little bit more. So we drive down, extend. And as you start to struggle here, just use that other arm on the cable a little to assist. You can also push on your hand a little. Oh. So when you spot with these ones, you don't want to take the load completely, but especially on the way down, you can use your other arm to spot. And then on the negative portion, so as you lower the weight, don't have any assistance from your other arm. So it's almost like you're going into some forced negatives. So those last few, you can spot on the way down, but then use that tricep yourself to control it back up. We spot, and then you fight it yourself. So from here, we'll go straight into the single arm dumbbell preacher curl. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either say do your left arm on the cable, straight into a left arm dumbbell preacher curl, or you could do say right and left on the cable and then go right and left on the dumbbell, which is what I've done. Now in terms of bench height on this one, you do want it fairly upright, not completely upright of course, but I'd say that's probably 70-ish. From here, we lengthen down. This bottom portion of the rep, basically that bottom sort of half to 2/3 is where we're gonna have the most tension because the dumbbell is acting against gravity. Gravity's coming straight down. So really, if you think about this top position, we're not really working against gravity anymore. It's more of a horizontal movement. So when you're doing a preacher curl, really prioritize. I still do a full range rep, but this lower part is where the benefit's really gonna come in. Again, with this one, I'm gripping tight through my pinky finger and basically thinking about driving that forearm into the bicep. Now what you can do here, again, just use your other arm to spot a little if you need. Only on the way up though. So control on the way down. One more. Slowly down, fight it. So these ones, again, they catch up to you pretty quickly. You may find you've got one stronger side. Sometimes people ask, if my right's stronger than my left, should I do more reps on my right hand side? I would generally say no. The reason being is that arm's just going to continue to get stronger. So on your weaker arm, say if your left is weaker, that's where you might find just doing an extra rep or two every set, it's going to overload that muscle and that side just a little bit more, which then over time should see it start to catch up. One more. Just on this movement as well, especially on the way down when you are doing those negatives, just be really careful if you are struggling to lower the weight down. You don't just want to take that arm off and let it drop. It's putting your bicep in a pretty vulnerable position. So just take it easy those last few. Even if you can't lower it yourself, use that other arm just a spot, because the last thing you want to do is an injury, because if you get injured, then you're not making any gains at all. So just be careful with a movement like this. So hopefully from this side, you can see how far that upper arm is going back behind my torso, which, like I said, that's where you're really going to get that tricep into a fully shortened position, and you should get a crazy contraction. Oh yeah. And you can play around with your torso positioning a little. If you find across the body slightly better, I pretty much find standing square with your chest facing the cable to be best. Oh. Man. Oh, two. Oh. Oh. This is one of those movements on those last couple of reps. Even when you're spotting with the other arm, it feels like if you didn't have a weight, you couldn't even straighten that elbow. So they get really taxing really quick. A little bit heavy this one, 15 this time. So we just got done with the 3 rounds there. Arms are feeling absolutely toast. So we're about to move on to our next superset, but I've had a few people ask me about the man cave, or the pump palace as I like to call it. So I'll just give you a quick little rundown. So basically this all used to be like one massive sort of, it was like a rumpus room with carpet, and it had an enclosed roof and stuff, and we've opened it up, and I had all these trophies at mum and dad's, and they were just collecting a lot of dust. So I thought, I worked hard enough for them, I might as well give them a little bit of a home. So yeah, each one has a very special meaning to me, and hopefully we're not done yet. There is space for more. So that's obviously a little bit of something special to me, and if I'm lacking a little bit of motivation, I come down here and I look at this wall, whether it be for a training session like we are now, or I do some office work over there as well. So to start with, I originally went to get some dumbbells just to do a little bit of arms when I was looking after banks, but I ended up getting a really sweet deal on this, which I've got from about 5 kilos all the way to 40s, and we've got 45s and 50s coming. I got this upright bench, which we'll use next for an overhead tricep extension, which is basically the only movement I do on that bench. We got the dip bars over there. I use those all the time. I love weighted dips. Got this cable crossover device, which is really nice. You can do all your chin-ups up there, obviously, and hanging leg raises. I've got heaps of cable adjustments. I've got quite a few more in my gym bag. Adjustable bench there. We got the big girl there, that's my Fat Bob. I love that. I'm a big dirt bike fan, so I've got all my old helmets up here. Signed Ryan Dudgey, that was the MX Donations series. So we actually got to meet Dungey in 2014, and we're hanging out at his motorhome with his dad having a beer, and he actually came out and gave us that set, which was really cool. TV for Banks when he's out here. Some bullhorns, because I like to think I'm country American. That is not for OnlyFans. That is for if I ever do content out here for my clients. Got some fast track apparel through here. Just some of the things I've done over the years for my clients. And this is pretty much it. So this is my little sanctuary, the Pump Palace. We'll get back into our next ones. We'll do 2 more supersets. We'll start to pick up the pace a little bit though. Okay, so this one here, overhead dumbbell tricep extension. One of my favorites actually. I find you get such a good stretch on this movement, and it really does allow you to hit those triceps in an overhead position, which we haven't really targeted a lot of today. We did that modified incline skull crusher, which was slightly overhead, but this one now, we're aiming pretty much for a vertical path of that dumbbell. Again, if you want to feel more of a stretch in this bottom position, you can think about flexing your biceps and then essentially it's straight up to the ceiling. Now, some people like to keep their elbows really tucked, others let them flare. I think the best piece of advice for this one is let them go where they naturally want to go. If you don't have the mobility and you're trying to force them in, it'll just feel super uncomfortable. Now, I don't think you should be too far out either, but somewhere in between, kind of like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. If anything, on the way down this portion, That's when I try and keep them in a little more. And then as I push up, just let them go. Now we'll keep a couple in the tank there for the working sets. I'm gonna do these straight into a hammer curl now. Now with a hammer curl, again, there's not too much to these. I keep my chest up nice and tall, gripping nice and tight, and essentially from here, minimal movement through the shoulder. We're just trying to focus on getting that dumbbell towards your front delt. So squeeze in that top position, let it down, chest up nice and tall. At this stage of the arm workout, I don't find you need a lot of weight for these to be effective. Like at the moment, these are 15s. If I was to do them fresh, I'll probably get over 20 kilos, but now they're pretty gassed. So gripping nice and tight, keep the swing to a minimum, chest up tall. Couple more here. So that's round one. Quick little breather here, and then we'll go 2 working sets. That was pretty close to failure anyway, so step up a little bit more for these next 2, particularly with the overhead dumbbell, but honestly those hammers, they felt heavy enough. And when you're getting to this stage of the workout, I don't find you need a great deal of weight, because then it becomes more of a swing, and I actually find then I start to lose my pump. So I rather keep the form a little bit tighter. I'm not going easy, I'm not going light, but something that I can control so I get the most out of the arms, which is what we're trying to target. All right, we'll go straight into 35 here. Three more. Joy. As you probably saw, the last few got a little bit ugly there, almost to the point where it was like dragging along the back of my head. So if you do have the opportunity to get a spot on these and get those last few reps where your spotter could help you up and then you can control down, I'll just take that set that much further. You'll be safe and you'll absolutely torch those triceps. When you do get to that point in the last few reps, if you can just get a few more partials, You don't need to swing and arch your back too much, but even you just feel that bottom range of motion, still creating a lot of tension on the biceps. So that's one working set. We'll go one more big working set. I won't worry about filming that one. And then we'll finish off with the last circuit for the day. Arms will be torched. Here he is. I thought you might have come down here. Whoa! You're very strong. Show me your muscles. Where are your muscles? Where are your muscles? Hey? Whoa! Okay, for the last circuit, the big fella's come. He's gate crashed the party. Hey? What are you doing, buddy? That's it. Show me. Show me a big one. Oh, whoa. So what we're gonna do, we'll do a tricep bar push down. You could do this with an easy curl bar or a straight bar. You could even do it with a rope. And what I had planned on doing was a bicep curl from the bottom position, but Banks is on that cable, so we'll see if we can jump in between his sets. And if you're a little bit short on time, you could even try this. So say if I've got 5 minutes or 10 minutes and I really want to condense my work, so the amount of volume I can do in that time, what I'll do is I'll hit a stop clock, and if I'm doing a superset, I'll see how many rounds I can get in that time. So I'll do that now just to finish off. So I might set it for 7 minutes and we'll see how many supersets we can get. You basically go back and forth from one to the other, hitting failure each time, from the push downs into the cable curls, back and forth as many rounds as you can get in 7 minutes. You'll finish off with a great pump and the arms will be totaled. Okay, we'll see how many rounds we can get in. That's it, buddy. You got it. Keep going. Big one down. That's it. Big push down through your arms. And again. Okay, because Banks isn't giving us any cable real estate, we'll use this same side. Okay, for the bicep curls, it's a little bit heavier than the tricep, so I might have to adjust that weight. Oh, jeez. Are you laughing at me? Can you give me a spot? I think for convenience, we'll keep that same bar on. Okay, that's one round and it took about 1:20. So we should get hopefully 4 to 5 rounds in. Keep in mind though, each round, we're probably not gonna get as many reps, so they'll get a little bit quicker. That's it, buddy, over here. Can you help me? Oh, help me. That's it, help. Oh. Let's make that bicep a little bit nicer. We'll get a little bit closer too. That's it, buddy. You got it. Show me. Show me those weights. That's it. You got it. Okay, Dad's resting too long. down from there. One more. You gonna spot that? He being cheeky. Oh. 3 minutes down. So the goal should be 4 solid sets. It's about halfway. Get down from there, cheeky monkey. I need a spot. Yeah. You can get down, buddy. Oh, come here. Oh. Can you spot me? Help me, buddy. You want to go up there? One more. I thought you might have wanted to spot me. Okay, we'll pause the clock. All right, Banks is jumping in for a superset. Okay, you ready? Let's get you up there, all right? Okay, you ready? Ready. Let's go. Up, okay. You ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3. One more. Go. Oh. Good job. All right, we've got just under 2 minutes. Hopefully get out 2 rounds here. Yeah, buddy. I'll turn it on in a minute. Can you spot me? You help? Ready? Help me. Oh, that actually helped. Yeah. I'll turn it on. 1 sec. Daddy, be over there in 1 sec. Yeah, let me do 4 reps, okay? 4 reps. Oh. Can I get 4 reps, man? Can I get 4 reps? What are you gonna do? I can't lift you. Ready? You hop on my back then. Can you hop on my back? Ready? Go. Up. Oh. All right, we'll pause the clock once more. We've got 30 seconds left, all right? Pause. Okay, he's set with the monster trucks. Hopefully I can get 1 more round in. We got 35 seconds. So we'll keep going this last round. What I'll typically do if I'm starting it and I know I'm gonna time out, so I'll reach the end round by the time 7 minutes is up, I'll do a drop set on each movement here. So we'll hopefully get 10 to 12, drop set, as many mini sets as it takes to get 10 to 12, and then we'll switch in the next movement. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh. 7. 9. One more. Drop set. If you never know how much to drop, 20% is normally a pretty good guide, depending on what the movement is, but try about a 20% decrease for your drop sets, and it's gonna get you in the ballpark. That's 6. 6 to go. You can let the form go a little bit on these, but keep in mind, we want to try and isolate the triceps as much as we can. So we don't really want too much of the shoulders coming in, too much of the chest coming in. 2, 3, 4, 2 more. One more. Oh, biceps, then we're done. Okay. All right. I like to sit the elbows just a little in front of the torso here. It's not completely back. I just find in that bottom position there, you're just creating a little bit more of a stretch. The biceps a little more lengthened. 3, 2, oh man, 12 to go. I'll just drop it 1 brick for this one. Okay, hopefully 6 and 6 here. Lights out. 1, 3, oh man. 4. So I probably should have dropped 2 bricks then, but I know it's the last set for the day. Basically the goal here is to absolutely annihilate him. So 6 reps and then we are done. Okay. 6, 1, 2, 3, 2 more. Oh man. I'll get a little bit more light here. That's a wrap. So what you would have seen, especially on those last few reps, it's funny, when your biceps start to fail and your elbow doesn't want to move anymore, your shoulder will just kick in and it'll start to go into that shoulder flexion just to get a rep up. So I was hitting a sticking point about halfway and then my shoulders basically would try and get me into an advantageous position to complete the rep. So hey, it's still a lot of tension on the biceps. Yes, you're getting a little bit of front delt coming in, but at this stage of the workout, I'm not worried about that. The quality work had been done. The heavier work had been done. This last little superset was a bit more of an example for you guys as well. And a great way to finish your arms, or you could do it on legs. If you're game enough, you could do a leg extension into a hamstring curl. You've got unlimited options, but sometimes you just want a mental and physical challenge to finish. So something like that, it's gonna absolutely blast the arms. It's gonna fill them with heaps of blood. And it's a nice little send off for the rest of your workout. So I hope you guys got some tips from today's session. Next one, I promise, will be a nutrition one. I've been super busy lately, so I do apologize. I did want to do one of these weekly, but we will keep them coming. So anything you want to see, let me know. Feel free to drop a comment. I'd love if you could like and subscribe. And until next time, keep training hard.